Today's topic is bills of exchange. Bills of exchange. Okay, under this unit, we will know the topics are: what is the meaning of bills of exchange? What are the features of bills of exchange? Next is difference between bills of exchange, promissory notes, and check. Advantages of bills of exchange. Next, how we treat the accounting of trade bills, accounting treatment of accommodation bills. Okay, first write down the meaning of bills of exchange. Bills of exchange. It is a written acknowledgement. It is a written acknowledgement. It is a written acknowledgement of a debt given by one person to another person. Given by one person to another person. One person to another person. So it is generally drawn by the creditor. Drawn by the creditor. Drawn by the creditor who directs his debtor to pay a certain sum of money. Certain sum of money. Certain sum of money mentioned in the instrument. Mentioned in the instrument. Okay, it is the meaning of bills of exchange. Now see here. So it is a bills of exchange is a written acknowledgement of a debt given by the one person to the another person. So it is generally drawn by the creditor who directs his debtor to pay a certain sum of money. The certain sum of money mentioned in the instrument. So it is a valid document. So bills of exchange is a valid document as an evidence of debt. So according to section 5 of the Negotiable Instrument Act defines the bills of exchange is an instrument in writing containing unconditional order signed by maker directing a certain person to pay a certain sum of money only to or to the order of a certain person or to the bearer of the instrument. Negotiable means what? Transferer. So bills of exchange is one instrument in writing containing an unconditional order. Unconditional means without conditions. That order is signed by the maker. So directly it a certain person to pay a certain sum of money. So this is the meaning of bills of exchange. Now next see what are the features of bills of exchange. Features of Features of bills of exchange. Features of bills of exchange. Okay, first feature is written document. It is a written document. Next is unconditional order. Unconditional order. Next is pay money. Pay money. Next is requires three parties. Requires three parties. Certain parties. Certain parties. Next is stamp. Okay, these are the features of bills of exchange. Now see the first one is written document. Okay, bills of exchange is a written document. So it means what? A bill of exchange must be in writing. A bill of exchange must be in writing. So it is signed by the drawer and accepted by the drawee. An oral order for the payment will not amount to an bills of exchange. So it is an instrument. It must be in an writing. So it is signed by the drawer and accepted by the drawee. Next is unconditional order. Unconditional order means no conditions are there. Okay, so it is not a promise or a request. It is an unconditional order to pay. Next is pay money. Next is pay money. So pay money means the order must be to pay money only. Means Suppose A and B two persons are there. A gives some amount to B. Okay, so B accept that amount, and he A will put said that you have to repay within 1 month period of time. Okay, B accept that one. So it is an a pay money. Okay, so this order must be to pay money only, not in kind. Not kind means like shades, securities, any products like gold, silver. Okay, so the order must be to pay in money only. Next is requires three parties. What are the three parties? The three parties are, there are three parties to a bills of exchange, namely drawer, drawee, and payee. Three parties are three parties are drawer. Who is the drawer? The person who gives, the person who gives order to pay, who gives order to pay, order to pay, or who makes the bill, who makes the bill is called drawer. Who makes the bill is called drawer. Next is drawee. Drawee is the person who accepts it. Drawee is the person who accepts, or who is directed to pay, who is directed to pay, directed to pay is called drawee. Is called drawee. And next is payee. Payee is the person who actually, the person who actually receive the payment, who actually receives the payment, receives the payment is called payee. Okay, remember these three terms under these bills of exchange is very very important. Okay, first three parties are the required three parties. Who is the drawer? The person who gives order to pay. Okay, he is a person, he gives the orders to the drawer to pay the amount. Or drawer is the person who makes the bill is called as an a drawer. Next is drawee. Drawee is the person who accepts that bill. Okay, the person who accepts and who is he accepts the bill and is directed to pay the amount, so that drawee is called as an a drawee. Next is payee. Who is payee? The person who actually receives the payment is called as an a payee. So these are the required three parties. Remember these three parties very very important in bills of exchange. Next is certain parties. Certain parties means the parties must be certain, means clearly. Okay, so they should be real and existing. Next is stamp. Okay, stamp is must and should, necessary, affixed. Now see the example how the format is there. Bills of exchange, specimen of bills of exchange. Okay, now see here. Okay, on the right side is place of name is Hyderabad. Okay. Date is 31st December 2016. Like, now see, this is a specimen of bills of exchange which shows that X and Y two parties are there. Okay. Y signs an instrument directing X to pay rupees 25 lakhs to the bearer 3 months after date. Okay. On this day, it will be issue, this instrument is to X. Okay, that person has to pay rupees 25 lakhs when 3 months after date. Okay, here write the place of address and date, and here write here is amount is how much is the amount is, for example rupees 25 lakhs. When it will be pay 3 months after date is 3 months after date pay to bearer pay to bearer the sum of rupees 25 lakhs 25 lakhs for value received. At what time he received? 3 months after the sum of rupees 25 lakhs per value received. Okay, after writing here, they make the stamp here. Stamp here. Why signature? Because he is a drawer na. He signs that instruments na. So that is Mr. Y. He is the drawer. And who accepts this bills of exchanges? X to Mr. X. He is the drawee. Got it? This is a specimen of bills of exchange. Here, why makes this bill? Okay, so this is person is called as an drawee who accepts this X is accept this bill when he wants to pay this amount 3 months after date. Pay to bearer the sum of rupees 25 lakhs for value received. Okay, this is a specimen of bills of exchange. Next is his difference between bills of exchange, promissory note and check. Difference between difference in between the bills of exchange Bills of exchange, promissory note, promissory note, and check. So now we know the meaning of bills of exchange. Now, what is the meaning of promissory note? Promissory note. So it is an instrument. It is an instrument. It is an instrument in writing. It is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking, containing an unconditional undertaking we signed by the maker, signed by the maker to pay a certain sum of money, to pay a certain sum of money to pay a certain sum of money only to or to the bearer of instrument, to the bearer of the instrument. Okay, so promissory note means what? So it is also one type of an instrument in writing. Okay, it contains an unconditional undertaking we signed by the maker. Under the bills of exchange we signed by the drawer na. So under this signed by the maker to pay a certain sum of money, to pay a certain sum of money only to or to the bearer of the instrument. So now what is the meaning of check? Check means a check is a bill of exchange. A check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker, drawn on a specified banker and and not expressed not expressed to be payable otherwise than a demand. Okay, check is what generally who draws that check? A specified banker. Okay, so it is also it is a one type of an bills of exchange drawn on a specified banker. Okay, so on and not to be expressed on a payable otherwise than the demand. Now see what is the difference between the bills of exchange, promissory note and check. Bills of exchange, promissory note, bills of exchange, promissory note, check. First one is number of parties. Number of parties. Next is nature. Next is acceptance. Next is acceptance. Next is liability. Next is notice of dishonor. Notice of dishonor. Next is payable. Next is crossing. Next is noting and protesting in case of dishonor. In case of dishonor. Next is stamp duty. Next is grace period. Grace period. Next is other features. Okay, these are the main points. Okay, now from these points we'll define the difference between these bills of exchange, promissory notes and check. So first is number of parties. Okay, in bills of exchange, how many parties are involved? Mainly three parties are involved. Okay, what are the three parties? Drawer, drawee and payee. Next, under the promissory note also, there are only two parties. Three parties. Under this promissory note only two parties are there, maker and payee. Next, under this, in check is a bills of exchange now. So in bills of exchange, how many parties are involved? Three parties. Now check also three parties are involved. That three parties are drawer, banker and payee. Okay, drawer, banker and payee. Next is nature. Nature. So under the bills of exchange, it contains an unconditional order to the drawee to pay the payee. Okay, so any conditions are there under the bills of exchange? No. Nature is, it contains an unconditional order to the drawee to pay the payee. Next, in promissory note also, it is an unconditional order promised by the maker to pay the payee. Next, in check, what is the nature of check? So nature of check is it is drawn on a specified banker. It is drawn on a specified banker to be paid on a demand. Next is acceptance. Acceptance means under the bills of exchange, the bill of exchange is required to be accepted by the drawee. Okay, it is who is accepted that bill? The bill accepted by the drawee if it is a legal document. Next, under the promissory note, promissory note needs no acceptance. Under the bill of exchange, it is required to be accepted by the drawee. But under this promissory note, there is no need to acceptance because of debtor himself makes the promise to make the payment. Here debtor makes the promise, okay, I will pay this amount after the 3 months or after 2 months. Next, under this check, not necessary is the acceptance. Next is liability. Next is liability. So under the bills of exchange, liability of the maker, that is drawer, is conditional and secondary upon non-payment of the drawee. Next is promissory note. Under the promissory, under the liability, liability of the maker is primary and absolute. Next, under the check is the liability of the drawer is conditional, okay. Under the check is the liability of the drawer is conditional and secondary that arises is non-payment by the banker. Next is notice of dishonor. Under this, notice of dishonor is necessary. Under the bills of exchange, notice of necessary is compulsory. In promissory note, it is not necessary. Next, under the check also, it is not necessary. And remaining points discussed in next class.